What's up, everybody? This is In the Pocket, where we talk about the things and people around sports that you want to talk about. I'm Big Bob. That's Maestro. Maestro, how are you doing today?
Doing outstanding, man. Made my 60 trips around the sun, getting ready for the next 60. Hopefully, they won't be as painful as the last 3 weeks have been. But I'm doing great, brother. How about yourself?
I am doing great. This is In the Pocket, where we talk about the things and people around did we do that? I think we did that part already. I'm doing great. We're having a great day. Uh, let's just jump right in. I want to apologize to everybody. I know we've been on a big NFL kick, but this is probably the biggest time for the NFL when it's not in season. So we just want to make sure that we do hit some of those major things that we love to talk about. Well, we love to talk about
And I'm
anything,
still
but
giving it. I'm still giving Lucas this episode. So Lucas, our quadruple diamond, triple platinum, titanium, uranium member. This is still about you, boo.
I don't know how many more what's the word elements there are, but I we'll keep finding them for him.
We're gonna discover them for you, baby. We're gonna discover them for you, boo.
Well, we to try and see if anything big happened. I feel bad for the people. We gave it an extra day of free agency to see what would happen, and uh, nothing crazy really happened. So, but here we are. Some big things did happen during free agency. Whether we see the failed Max Crosby trade, obviously the not surprising Kyler Murray to the Vikings, things like that. Uh, what are your thoughts so far on maybe who the winners have been? I think. Or do you think the Jets? Did the Jets, are they winners? Did they win free agency?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm sorry, absolutely not. I need to be professional about this. No, and I don't mean that just because of my non-professional view of Geno Smith. I mean that in terms of I mean that in terms of organization. And so by that I'm going to say this. Is he a stopgap? I think you could have done better. Is he someone that you want to build around? I really don't think so. It's not that kind of team. And he's not the kind of quarterback I think you can build around. No offense. Again, he's an NFL. I'm sitting in a chair wrapped in plastic. Um, uh, I I would have liked if they were going to go free agent wise. I would have liked to have seen them go with someone younger that might fit a two-way system, depending on who the OC is going to be. And I apologize, I did look up the OC and I forgot that fast. Depending on how they want to run their offense this year. Um, so I I don't see the Jets as a winner. And again, if they are, I'll be the first one to say, my bad, boy, did I miss that? And if they are not, I'm not going to say I told you so because I just don't do that. And I don't know. But I do feel some other teams made out a lot better, though, Big Bob. I really do. Uh, I think, man, I think the Jets are putting band-aids on holes in the cabin of an airliner at 40,000 feet, and it's just not. It's just not holding the pressure in.
I think it's one of those things where we got to wait and see. I think because I
Yeah.
know you do have your opinion on Geno Smith. Obviously, unfortunately, since '09 2010, like the Jets have kind of been in this perpetual downfall.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
Geno Smith, I probably put 10% of the blame on what happened with the Raiders on him. That offensive line for Oakland or for Las
Yeah.
Vegas
Oh, yeah. It
is
was.
so
It was.
it
It was a
was
hot bag. It was a hot bag of trash. Yes, you're
yeah.
right.
So I hope that we see Geno Smith has grown. That you see the Sam Darnold type of turnaround. Uh, but I do see some people saying that Geno Smith lost in this trade because of the faith that people have or the lack of in the Jets. And he's got some talent there to throw to. Garrett Wilson, he's got Garrett Wilson there. Who knows who they're going to bring in during the draft? Did they keep? I can't remember. Did they franchise Brees Hall? I can't remember the running back. I can't remember if they
You
kept
know
Hall or
what?
not.
You know what? I mean, you know what? I think you called that before, and I think you were right. I think they did.
I'm not
And
100%
again,
sure.
please, I'm not 100% sure either. Please, everybody, fact check with me because Bob is always right. Um,
Oh, no.
but but no, seriously, I remember you making that comment. I remember thinking to myself, you know, why would they do that? And not give him an outright contract. That being said, for and I might be confusing with someone else. I apologize. I know we're really going to talk about the free agency thing. And I guess in a way that sort of French franchise tagging or whatever is part of the free agency moves that we see now. It's okay, Bob. You know, please don't lose your thought because I need to say something. The reality of teams. So now, for our fans who are really down into the free agency thing, God bless you. I think it's something you can really travel down the weeds in, especially if you like doing murder boards, right? Like you can take a player, you can say, okay, who was his offensive coordinator that he had the most success with? Where are they now? Who was his position coach he had the most success with? Where are they now? And you can kind of do that whole thing like you see in like those
Yeah.
shows where the detectives have the big board up. And oh, by the way, you can do the same thing with teams. Okay, here are the teams. What are they needs? And then you can do the murder board. So there's so many different ways you can do. Sort of like statistics. There's so many ways you can do it, and it still tell a full story, right? So like the hardcore fans that are into that, those are the ones that I really appreciate because they bring a view to it that you don't get. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say mainstream media, and I mean that in the most negative way possible. What I see now and what I hear now, because I did something I said I would never do, and I did it because I'm a boy and I'm dumb.
Our brains
Listening to a
haven't
lot
fully
of the
developed
interview,
yet.
yeah, no, totally. And I'm 60, and this I still haven't developed yet. I was listening to a lot of the podcast interviews for like a lot of the free agents and a lot of big signings because I really wanted to hear from the player's mouth where they were with stuff, right? And so many players made the comments of the stuff that we've talked about here. The coaches that they had the most success with, the OCs they had the most success with, or the DCs, the defensive coordinators had the most success with. And I know you and I pay attention to that. I know a lot of our listeners pay attention to that because the questions that they ask. And I think that the casual fan, I think, kind of doesn't care. They just want to see the player perform, and you're a pro athlete. You're supposed to perform no matter what. But I believe, and honestly believe in my heart of hearts, that without the right coaching and without the right symbiotic relationship between coaching and coordinators and schemes and stuff like that, there are very few players that can transcend anything. You know, there are very few Lawrence Taylors. Um, Look up for those who might now. Lawrence Taylor, New York Giants linebacker, whatever he was, a defensive player that can take over a game and give everybody nightmares. Where you would hear offensive linemen in interviews talk about how they would go back to the huddle in tears because they couldn't deal with him. These are professional athletes who looking at him like he's the next two levels up above them, right? There are very few cats like that. There are very few cats who, like a Tom Brady, you could take an all-star team, not like the NFL all-star team where people just are left over, but like a real first all-pro pick team. Put them on one side. And then you get Tom Brady with the teammate of like Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, and Eagle Scouts from like Hawaii. And it's gonna be a two-score game, and Tom Brady's gonna win because of his ability to read defenses, be able to read other teams, know what's going on, knowing the strength of his players. There are very few players like that. Most players, as talented as they are, need to be in the right place, in the right system. And let's just be honest about it. Geno Smith had his opportunity. I don't know. Okay, and about the offensive line thing, that might have been on them. It might have been on the disharmony that apparently was in the locker room that we didn't hear about till after the fact. But it also could be who was the offensive line coach.
Yeah.
How did the Chip Kelly was the what he was the offensive coordinator, but how much did he have to say about what was going on with in terms of the line work?
Yeah.
So there's so many things that go into it, and I know sometimes that drags some people. It might drag into the weeds where it's not interesting anymore. But to be frank about it, if you don't look there, then you probably shouldn't talk about it because it's never just the player. As talented as they are, it's never just the player. So, and I guess I'm saying that to say, and please, I hope you didn't lose your thought on where you were. The reality of these free agent signings. Do you want the best available player? Yes. Your and mine draft. I thought it was really interesting looking at the signings. A lot of the teams picked the needs that we identified, which means somebody on the other end either listened to the podcast and stealing our ideas and not giving us credit. Shame on you, but it's cool. Don't worry about it. Or or it's the in the weeds look that we're talking about, right? Where it's that stuff that it's not sexy to the person who goes and buys the jersey and doesn't remember that the Miami Dolphins had a perfect season back in 72. Doesn't remember that the Kansas City Chiefs actually won a Super Bowl before Patrick Mahomes got there. Doesn't remember the days of Dallas when, well, that's a lot of people remember the days of Dallas when that was a bad example. Sorry. Too soon. My bad. It is, and Bob, and I'm going to stop now because I've overtook my time. I'm once again, and I think it's because I had a really bad experience with the NBA this week. I'm struggling to find my view of these teams from a fan perspective because I think of the disassociation of the players and the schemes and the coaches and stuff like that. When I hear everybody talk about this is the greatest free agent signing in the history of man, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, that makes absolutely no sense.
For me,
Reggie White.
yeah,
I mean, you said that about Reggie White when he went to the Packers. Okay. If you say that Chris Carter when he went to the Vikings, okay. But dudes, come on. These are players that you don't even talk about in the course of a season, and all of a sudden they're part of the greatest free agent signing ever.
yeah.
Somebody needs to take a nap.
Like, listen,
I'm sorry, I'm
I
back.
I absolutely love my Penn State guys. I will always
Mhm.
root for them to get big contracts, get their money, get to show what they have to do. I question these contracts and he's a defensive end. I can't remember if he's a linebacker or a defensive end now. I mean, it's pretty much the same position. You have your stand up defensive ends that are essentially linebackers. You move them around everywhere. He was defensive end at Penn State. He got $100 million contract, and I was like, I don't know if I don't know how he got $100 million contract because he hasn't played like
Right.
$100 million player. So it's like these guys, they're talking, oh, what a great sign. And I'm not saying him specifically, but you're like trying to go off what you're saying is like, oh, this is such a great signing. But you're like, who? Who is it? I'm sure there's most NFL fans are not going to have any idea who he was. And for him to get a
Right.
$100 million contract, I think it was 4 years, 4 year 100 million or 3 year 100 million from the Commanders. It's like
Mhm.
I'm sure it's one of those things. It's age, it's upside, it's those kind of things that you factor in. But I mean, people just talk out of the side of their head whenever it comes to
Yeah.
pretty much anything. I mean, we do it sometimes. I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time. I just try and sound confident enough that you believe me.
Right. But
uh,
but here's the thing though. Here's why we always explain why we feel a way about we do about something. We never just say anything. We always try to explain to everybody why we're saying something. We never one thing that we try to ever to do, and we think you guys will listen to us as always here, but in the pocket, we try to stay in the pocket. We feel this is a good signing because of this. We feel this is a bad signing because of this. It's never, oh, it's a bad signing, and then that's it. We never want to leave your hand. We all because we understand if you don't care what we think, but we also know that when you do question us, you really want to know why we think the way we do. So that's why we
mhm,
try to explain it.
absolutely.
So, Boo, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
With the money number on these contracts, because that's something that we rarely talk about unless it's contextual.
Yeah.
In your mind, is it real money or is it monopoly money? And so let me explain what I mean when I say that question.
I,
Because that's what we do here in in the law and podcast. When you see a contract like that, we don't know the pay schedule behind it, right? We don't know how much the previous team is taking over. We don't know how much is written because of something else. We don't know how much is being written now because they want to get something, So for instance, I could sign you for $100 million with not the intent of keeping you, but the intent of hiking up your value to the point that when I propose a trade for you, the contracts have to match to a certain extent. So I'm basically giving you fake money now to get real money on the back end. And I know that's what that led to the financial crisis of 2008. I'm not stupid. But do you think some of that's going on? Like they'll take a player. We know that Bob is only a $60 million player, right? But we want to give him $100 million because our plan is to get him to a point where we can move him and we can get 100. We can get a higher return on investment for him for what he's worth. Do you think some of that's going on?
I think I don't know necessarily that, but I do think that the contract, the numbers that we see at the end of the day, they really don't matter because, like
Mhm.
you said, we don't know all the ins and outs of all of these contracts. You can
That's the
go on,
trick, isn't it?
you can go and see. I forget what the website is, but I used to look at this one website all the time. It would break down. Uh, Here's their 4-year contract. This is what they get. This is what they're getting each year. If this is their restricted or unrestricted free agent year, whatever, things like that. But they don't really go
Right, right, right,
into the signing bonuses and stuff. It's like I'm going to use the
right.
Vikings as an example because that's my team and I follow them more than anybody else. Is every single season, every single off season, where we're in salary cap. I know we don't swear at all. I don't even want. Heck, we're in
Yeah,
salary cap. Heck, uh,
yeah.
uh,
And I don't
and
think, and and technically, since it's actually a wait, is that a pronoun? I guess it doesn't really count as a swear. Maybe I don't know, but like you, I'd rather err on the side of caution than on, yeah,
hey, if a kid watches this, I don't even want to say that. Now,
yeah, I
if you
agree.
catch us off stream, and you definitely wouldn't be able to play us anyway. Anyways, every single season, the Vikings are over the cap. They're over the cap. They're over the cap, and then you go, they just had a huge free agent class, and it's the
Hmm.
contracts just don't matter because they can play around with the money so much.
Right.
Um, like they restructure the contract. What is restructuring the contract really?
You
It's
know what?
you
You know what?
restructured it and freed up $15 million. You restructured it, you got an extra $5 million here. You Hawkins, yeah, it's there's so many
So
ways that they play with these
I I
contracts.
can actually I can actually speak to that a little bit because when I was in the running for a GM job, I actually went to one of the training things, and then and so I really found it interesting. I actually went for two different sports, and I found it really interesting how that works. So here we go, guys. Real quick and dirty. I promise to keep it under 3 minutes. So let's say I have I'm $40 million under the salary cap, which means the maximum amount that I'm sorry, I'm going to explain to some people who might not know what it means. So whatever the cap is, the maximum amount that a team is supposed to be able to spend. If I go over that, I got to pay taxes against it or whatever, fines or whatever. And some teams don't care. But let's say I'm $40 million under the cap, but I really want to sign Bob, and I know Bob is a $60 million player. So that means I need to find $20 million. So what I can do is I can go to players that I have control of for more than 2 years in the NFL. I think it's more than 2 years. I'm going to get my numbers confused between the two sports, but I think if I've contract control of them, or that means they have two years or more remaining on their contract, I can restructure their contract by taking some of the money that they're owed in that contract, giving them into a giving them a s- get re, changing that to what's called a signing bonus,
Mhm.
which means that they're going to get that automatically, and that reduces the remaining contract hit on the cap, and then I can do that, and then that will move me down where I can now get Bob for the $60 million. And then what I still might do with him, I might not give him $60 million flat out. I might say $60 million. I'm going to give him a $10 million signing bonus, and that signing bonus, again, it doesn't necessarily help me as much as the other players that I had under control, but it helps me going into next year with the salary cap issue. So those are the sort of monopoly money things that go on when they talk about restructuring contracts to move it around. And Bob is right on, by the way, as he always is, but he's right on with the fact that it becomes sort of like a monopoly board shift where we're basically moving Peter to pay Paul to run over Jim, to push Mary off the bridge, to I'm sorry, that was inappropriate. But you guys get where I'm going with that, right? Like, there's a way that we can move it so everybody's going to fit on the contract, even if it means I sign Bob knowing I'm going to move him later. And then I might get two players for $40 million, and I get to use the additional $20 million as a return to me being under the cap while the other team absorbs that. Those are the sort of games that get played with that.
Yeah.
So if hopefully that wasn't too confusing, and I barely stayed under 3 minutes with that.
I know you did, but you did. I think you started at 18:11 on our clock, and you finished under 21 minutes. So here we
Nice.
are.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, and the Vikings became known the last few years. Going back to oh my God, Spielman. Um,
Yeah.
that they just became known for being able to play with that salary cap to be able to bring guys in or to keep guys and
Mm,
whatever. So yeah, it's and I'm sure there is that hiking up that value as well. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but I just think it's more of it doesn't matter because they're going to find a way to free it up or get the money to the guy without it affecting them somehow. It happens all the time. It happens
fact.
all
Fact.
the time. Um, but yeah, I mean, so I wanted to go back a little bit. Let's reel it back into free agency. And what are your
Mhm.
thoughts on we've had so many teams who have their potential future quarterback on the roster, but then they have
Yeah.
brought in this guy who is expected to push them or may potentially take their position. I mean, you got the Falcons where
Hmm.
they brought in Tua with
You were gonna
Penix.
start.
You got the
Yeah.
Vikings, got JJ McCarthy and brought in Kyler, which I'm very excited about. But what are your thoughts on is this is it good? Competition is good. In my
Yeah.
opinion, competition is always good because if me and you are playing together, I'm going to try and be better than you. However, I'm also going
Yes.
to try and make you better as well. Like that's how
But
I
it
look at it. Like
and
I want to be better than you, but I want you to also try and be better than me so I can continue to be better than you. So it's a healthy
Mhm.
competition. Not this Aaron Rodgers Brett Favre relationship and Aaron
Oh,
Rodgers and
whew. And
whoever
anybody else
relationship.
relationship.
Yeah, anybody. Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, man, you know how to tweak my nerves, man. That's how I know we've been married too long. So here's the thing. Here's the thing, and I'm also I want to get two things out the way so that way everybody can understand my prejudice when I answer this question, and it is a prejudice. If I have to go to another team to be the better player, I'm not the better player. If I'm trying, if Bob's a sophomore and I'm a freshman, and I'm trying to, and we play the same position, I'm with Bob on that 100%. I want to work as hard as I can to get the coaches to look at me, to give me the opportunity that if I end up becoming better than Bob, then they say, okay, you know what, Maestro, you hit it. If I'm not better than Bob, I keep working to get better than Bob, and Bob's going to keep working to get better than me, and we're going to push each other, good on good. And when you have a healthy mindset and a healthy mentality, and you don't expect it to be given to you, and I'm saying it that way on purpose because a lot of athletes are so used to being the best when they have to finally work for it. All of a sudden, now things just got hard. I remember, okay, real quick, I'm gonna keep this under a minute. No, a minute and a half. I remember my very first day on a team bus going for off-season workouts. And these guys were bragging about how they were all American this, all American that, blah, blah, whatever. And the coach up front had enough. Told the bus driver to stop. Okay, who here was all district? Everybody's hands went up. Who here was all state? Everybody's hands went up. Who here was team captain? 80% of the people's hands went up. Who here was this? 90% of the hands went up. Just all these accolades that these guys were bragging about, trying to shame each other. And the coach said to those guys, you're on a team with a bunch of people who have the same thing you have. So you're nothing right now. You need to work for it. You need to earn it, whether you're a senior or a freshman. And I always remember that talk because I was thinking to myself, why are these guys even talking about that? And the coach should not have had to stop the bus to read us the riot act for these two. I'm going to use the I word, so hold your child's ears, idiots trying to prestige shame their teammate. So again, Bob and I talk about this all the time. The higher you go, the better everybody gets. And that means you're not playing with a guy who's a negative 2-star. You're playing with a guy who is a 5-star if you're a 5-star. And then once you go to the pro level, it's way past that. So that stuff doesn't matter anymore. So now, and I know that was over a minute, I apologize. What Bob said about the mentality and having the mindset of knowing that I'm going into a competition, if competition among friendly people weaken you, you're in the wrong business because the other team wants that competition to beat you down. So that being said, and let's use Atlanta as an example. When Atlanta, after they signed Kirk Cousin and then they drafted Michael Penix as high as he did, shook the panties off of Kirk Cousin. And that was disappointing to see because it should have been good. They drafted somebody really good. I'm going to help bring them along. I'm the guy that they gave the big money to, if that means anything to anybody, but I'm going to be QB1 until I'm not QB1. And if I'm QB2 making $180 million, fine. So that means they got beat me out. That being said, I should feel comfortable in myself to welcome that competition, but also to build up my teammate. Now they brought in Tua. So now we got Tua turn the ball over along with my sorry, too soon. So I do like the fact that it's two left-handed quarterbacks, even though one is so short that you only can. I'm sorry, as a wide receiver, I have a thing for short quarterbacks, and I know that sounds ugly because all I know is as a receiver, unless they were spot throwing a ball, if I was looking back for them, I had no idea where the ball was coming from until it came out. So hopefully they could see me because I sure as heck can't see them over the 6'9" lineman. That being said, I'm sorry, Chris, I'm not calling you out, even though you were our quarterback at 5'7". I know it said 5'9" in the books, but you were 5'7", dude. Uh, but that being said, competition, I believe, is always good, but it starts with the mentality of the people in the competition. So I'm gonna finish this way too long answer by saying this. I will learn more about Tua and Penix as people to know if I can trust my franchise with them in this
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
Because media people are going to take the cheap shots. The lazy people are going to take the extra cheap shots. How they handle those cheap shots and how they work with the team is going to tell me more about who they are and if I can hand them the keys to my franchise to say, you're my person. Now, despite that answer, I'm going to pull a Bob and I'm going to say something else. Having two quarterbacks is having no quarterbacks. As a team, if I don't say this is our QB1, this person right here, and I don't talk about QB2 until it's time for QB2 to play, that is when you start getting into trouble because you're offering up outside noise to happen. And I'm going to tell you what outside noise doesn't matter. And if you played on teams, you probably know what I'm about to say. If you haven't played on the teams, please listen to this, and hopefully you'll take in the spirit in which is intended. In the locker room, players know who's it and who's not it, no matter if they're on the ones or the twos or the threes. Players know. You can't hide in the locker room. You know more about your teammate than you know about your partner or your spouse. And I mean everything from how much time you guys spend together, how much you have to work together, showering around each other, learning more about each other's fears than you ever really want to share with anybody else, learning more about what makes you happy more than you want to share with anybody. There's just so many things that go on to being teammates with someone when you're truly teammates. And there's so much that you learn about a person. And that's why those bonds are that are just as tight as people who served in the military together. There's something about that intense work environment that if you bond with somebody, that bond is forever.
Yeah.
So in the locker room, players know why, because they want to win. and they know who can handle it and they know who can't handle it. And believe me, whether they say it or not, it's said. And if you're one of those players that if you're in the locker room and whenever they call your name for the ones and there's a silence, it's not awkward, it's a straight silence. That means they don't feel like you should be a one. Or worse, they didn't even look at you or call your name when you're in the huddle. You're basically holding a spot in the huddle, and your teammates around you are like, okay, this guy's here. I need to do more because this person's here. And so there's a way that your team will let you know you're not it, dude. That dude behind you should be here. And that goes back to the mentality again. How do I earn their trust? How do
Yeah.
I earn my teammates' trust? How do I earn my coach's trust so I can be in a spot where I need to be? And I can't do that by chirping. Sorry, I'm based on my voice. I'm so sorry. Chirping to the media about how I should be a starting quarterback. Because listen, I had a grandmother that spoke very little English, but you know what she would say? If you got to tell somebody or something, maybe you're not.
Yeah. Yep.
If
Yep.
I got to tell you I'm a starting quarterback, if I have to tell you that, I'm probably not a starting quarterback or whatever. And oh, by the way, if I'm that good, if I'm him, to quote everybody now, and I got to tell you I'm him, I'm probably not him.
Yep.
And if I'm him, they can put Godzilla across from me. It don't matter because Godzilla about to get trucked because I'm him. And I don't have to whine about it. I don't have to go to the media about it. I just handle my business. And that was way too. I'm chewing up so much scenery tonight, Bob. I'm sorry,
That's
boo.
all right. It's
I'm
it's
just
it's the Maestro show tonight.
I'm everybody. I am please send all your hate mail to Maestro at he's a dumbbutt.com. And yeah, please don't hold this against Bob. It's all on me.
No, but I do hope just for the sake of all the teams. I never want anybody to fail except maybe
No, you
except
don't.
maybe the Bears and the Pack. I don't know. Maybe the Bears.
Well,
I
the
don't
Bears
know.
don't count.
But
Bears don't count, and the Jets are just going to fail because that's what we do.
But I really,
I'm
really do
sorry.
hope we see a change in these players who now I do want to say I think Kyler Murray is still young. So to bring Kyler
Yeah.
Murray in I mean, so is Tua. I mean, and that's the thing. In a lot of these cases, I was going to say that I hope to see the Bryce Young type of change. Was Bryce Young the
Hmm.
greatest quarterback in the world this season? No, but he grew from his benching. He grew from his time behind Andy Dalton, and he clearly improved and made the Panthers something. I don't want to say to fear, but something he gave them something to look forward to, and that probably they don't have to worry about looking for a quarterback for a couple more seasons unless he just completely
Right.
drops off next year.
Right.
But I what I was going to say doesn't make sense because it's like you're literally bringing these guys in who are potential just straight replacements. Well, yeah, you brought them in for the competition, but if Kyler Murray beats out JJ McCarthy, uh, unless the Vikings are planning on just doing a one and done thing that they did with Sam Darnold, uh, you're going to probably have to trade JJ McCarthy because JJ McCarthy is young enough that he's not going to want to sit behind. He's not going to want to sit behind somebody for 8 years to get its chance again.
You know what? Yeah, you know what? You're right about that. You're right about it. But see, that's different though, because you're talking about cats who are young, who are
Yeah,
behind someone who's
yeah,
young. And oh, by the way, and listen, oh, by the way, I'm not changing my tone on the rule. I listen, you and I can be both freshmen coming in, and you could be the 5-star, and I could be in the 2.5-star. We still putting on the same uniform in the same locker
yep,
room, boo. You're my boy, and I will go to bat for you and fight for you any day. But I'm also
yeah,
going to fight you for that spot,
yep,
and that's where it should be.
yep,
That's where it's supposed to be
yep,
because that's what good on good makes teams better.
yep.
Look, had a coach. One, everybody knows who coached me in a whole bunch of sports. I talk about her all the time, Sister Mary Hamilton. But I had another coach in elementary
I don't know if
football.
anybody thinks she's real.
Yeah, well, so trust me, just look at the FBI list. Um, we had a coach that actually had a chance to play in the NFL. He didn't get a chance for a lot of personal stuff that's not important here. But he was our coach for fifth grade football. I'm sorry for 5th grade football. And one of the things that he would do is it was always good on good, and then he had what he called good go to one, which meant no matter what position you played, wide receiver, offensive line, or whatever, if you were the best athlete, that was the team he put together. And if he wanted to get a win, he would put all of us in to play two-way football for a quarter if he wanted to, because he wanted the best athletes on the field because he knew how to coach us to make us do what we need to do. And he did that. So your goal was not just to be the starter in your position, but you want to make the good all in team. Because when he called that, if we were down by 4 and it was 5 minutes left to go in the game, and he called good all in team, you want to be that tier one operator, putting on your gear, going out there and getting it done. And that pushed us in practice to even make our good on good practices even tougher and harder. So we got in the game, it was nothing for us. So, and I won't waste the story time here, but that story got us as fifth graders. We actually replaced the eighth grade team for some other stuff that went down, and it's Mississippi, so you can only imagine. It's Mississippi, you can only imagine, right? But they had to get a waiver for us fifth graders to play against eighth graders because there's obviously a lot of developmental differences, right? We still won the city and district championship fifth graders over the eighth graders, and that's the team I talked about that we played almost every sport, and from fifth grade to our senior years in high school, between all the sports we played, I think we lost 7 times between all the sports we played because of the way he pushed us. And of course, Sister Mary Hamilton always lurking in the shadows with her, with with all the gambling stuff that was going on. But anyway, we don't want to get kneecapped on the way home. So I'm sorry, I shouldn't be calling. But here's the problem. I really don't know her real name because it's her nunnery name or nun name or whatever. When you go into order, you have to take a name. So
Mhm.
she, she could have been Irish Thug Sister 5. I don't know.
But yeah. So
But yeah,
yeah,
so anyway, yeah.
hopefully I do hope that all these guys just see it as a healthy competition, and maybe they all grow, and yeah, all 4 of the guys, maybe Penix gets traded and JJ McCarthy gets traded somewhere, and they grow and they improve a team somewhere, and they learn from this experience. Because if you give up because of one bad situation, I mean, again, it's you're not built for it, you're not
Agreed.
built for the sport, you're
Agreed.
not, this isn't the business for you. I some of
Agreed. But
I
but 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 Bob, can I be mean about something?
Yeah.
Here's where I go back to the coaches and the coaching.
Yeah.
I go back to the head coach, who they get as OC and DC, who they get as position coach, who they get as how they put the team around these players, especially the quarterbacks. How do I put I'm not putting we talked about this. We're not putting Tom Brady in a read option system.
Yeah, but he
It takes him nine and a half day.
I don't know, he might make it work, I don't know.
You're right. Apologize. Bad example. Bad example. Yes, you're right because he would find a way to run 2 yards faster than 7 minutes. You're right. You're absolutely right. I'm sorry, Tom. I know that was me. My bad. But yes, but there's certain people I'm not putting in certain systems because their skill set that they have shown me to this point doesn't give me any reason to believe they're going to succeed. And I'm also not going to take away the best options that they have. That's why I've come to respect the Buffalo Bills coach. Oh Lord,
John
Buffalo
McDermott?
Bills quarterback.
Oh, Josh
No, I'm
Allen.
sorry, probably the quarterback, Josh Allen. So much the fact that he's one of those guys that kind of reminds me of a player like Tom Brady. You can put a bunch of stuff around him. If it's not working, I'm gonna find a way to win.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, almost the same way, except Patrick's had talent to work with, but there's also a really super smart team. So there's certain people that, yes, you can put those people in certain systems, but that is the 2%
Yeah,
guys.
yep.
To be honest about it, I mean, I love Herbert. I do. I think if you were to put things on my brain to say, okay, go and 3D print your quarterback, probably look like Justin Herbert. You know, he's tall, he's lanky, he is not slow because when he gets out, not just running for his life, but when he moves, he moves.
Got some nice hair.
But yeah, he is so good looking though. My goodness. I wish I had like 2% of that good looks. But I mean, but still, I'm sorry. But if I put him in the wrong system, he's not going to be successful. You know, but and I'm going to be honest about it. The times when I've seen him when he's healthy, I almost believe I can put him in any system. And then when something collapses around him, either he doesn't have the experience yet or didn't have the coaching and training yet to be able to deal with it. And I don't know enough about his total situation to know that. But that being said, though, how could you not like someone like that as a quarterback? But is he in that top 2% of people that when all the quarterbacks are lined up, you're going to pick him in the first seven, maybe the first seven toward the end, maybe.
I
But I
would.
don't know.
I would. I think we disagree a little bit on
I
Herbert. I
think I
think
would
we
too.
yeah,
You know what though?
I
I'm saying that I think I would
yeah,
too though.
because I do think that he has done a lot more with an almost I mean, you go look at the offensive line, the way that they played, not last season, but the season before, and partially this season as
Oh,
well.
hell,
Just how bad,
yeah.
like literally
And how,
some of the worst
and how much
offensive
he gets
line
hurt.
play. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Um,
You're right. And how
but
much he gets hurt and he plays through that. He plays through that pain. That I'm sorry. I love that about. Give me a quarterback that's willing to that they're willing to sometimes play through injury, not just being hurt. There's a difference between being hurt and having
yeah,
injury.
yep,
Give me that cat. Give me that cat because I'm going to trust him because I might have to protect him from himself.
yeah.
But I know he's not going to call. He's not going to put on the baseball cap and say I don't feel like it today.
We might get canceled for that comment, Maestro. But I agree. I think
You
it's
know.
one of those.
Yeah.
We're in a world where uh everybody wants to be pampered and everything like that. I'm not saying it's just now. I mean, it's happened all throughout history, but I really feel
Yeah.
like you got to play hurt. You can't play injured. If you're injured, like I wake up every day hurting somewhere with the work that I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
My arms,
Dude.
back, whatever, what I do, I wake up hurting. But at the end of the day, I got to go to work because if I don't go to work, then I'm leaving the kids that I work with are going to be disappointed that I'm not there. So if I'm
Bro,
injured, I'm injured.
I'm
But if I'm
bro, I'm
hurt,
60. I'm 60. Sometimes I worry about I'm gonna rip a spleen when I put on my shirt. I'm worried about spleens that can fly out my nose. Talking about, you know. But no, you yeah. I keep seeing Patrick Mahomes getting his foot darn near ripped off or his whatever, and he wants to put on a bigger shoe to come in and play. And I would not have let him do it. And I'm glad Andy Reid did. I'm glad if you watch Quarterback season 1 on Netflix, you'll see what we're talking about. And he wasn't posing. He really wanted to be out there. And it shows you how smart Andy Reid is. Like, no, dude, we need you for later. You know. And guess what? My number 2 was prepared enough to go in and do their job. And you're right. You know, not every, not everybody can be Ronnie Lott. Here, just take off my finger because I want to keep playing.
yeah.
Look up that story, and you'll know what we're talking about.
Mm. But yeah. Well, again, reeling it back in to free agency.
Yeah, please, because listen. I'm gonna give everybody a refund on this episode. Just direct refund for this episode because I blew it. Maestro is sorry from the bottom of his heart.
There was two shocking signings for me. I thought they were shocking. Maybe people knew something that I didn't know, but I was really really surprised to see how quickly Mike Evans and Kenneth Walker III left their teams.
Thank you.
Again, I know some people were questioning Walker's fit with the Chiefs, but people were also, and including myself, were
Oh,
questioning Derrick Henry's fit with the Ravens, and he went out there and dominated because it wasn't necessarily what you for. If you have Derrick Henry, you line up in the power I and you feed him the ball. Everybody was wondering how is he going to do standing next to Lamar Jackson. He's done pretty well. They figured out a nice little system for him. If Kenneth Walker is as good as we think he is, and some people
mm-hmm.
may not think he's going to be that good. But if he's as good as we think he is, he's going to figure it out. And then Mike Evans, I'll be interested to see how the 49ers do. Obviously, they have to replace Juwan Jennings, and I think they're getting rid of, I don't think they've traded him yet, but Brandon Ayuk. I mean, he's just had his whole drama,
Yeah.
his meltdown there and with the 49ers. So they needed a number one. They're getting a number one. And I don't, has Mike Evans, he's still, I think it's 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons is where
Mhm.
he's at right now. So they're getting their number
Mhm.
one. So it'll be interesting to see what Brock Purdy does with that. But those two are probably, I think, for me personally, the two biggest shocking signings, because I just didn't expect, I don't know. I thought they might stick around with their teams and maybe Kenneth Walker would try and run it back. But I also, at the same time, it's not shocking because of the
Right.
way that I think it was the owner or the GM was talking about Kenneth Walker
Yeah. Yeah.
immediately after winning the
Yeah.
Super Bowl, and it's like it's not shocking.
And to be an MVP.
Yeah,
Not just winning, but the MVP. The
yeah,
reason you won the Super Bowl.
yeah.
I mean,
It's
yes, I know the page. Listen, I know the Patriots just got off the bus for Super Bowl like about 5 minutes ago. So that means they're about ready to play the
literally,
Super Bowl
and
now.
literally 5 minutes
But
ago, like they didn't show up. So that's literally 5 minutes ago, they just got there.
yeah. So, but that being said, though, I'm sorry. But if you look at the way he performed and has performed, I think he's been over 1,000 yards in all of his first seasons. Please fact check me on that. And that's and oh, by the way, that was splitting time with oh my god, what's the guy's name? It's like a wine. Chardonnay,
Charbonnet, yeah, yeah,
Charbonnet, yeah, yeah. So it's like splitting time with him. He still managed to
Charbonnet.
be over 1,000 yards. And please again, fact check Maestro on this because I'm just so off my game right now.
He got
And
not
other,
every year, not every year. He was
you
hurt the
know,
year before
you
too.
know, okay. So so it's 1 year out of four, right? One
He
year out of
well,
four that he
he
was
had nine.
under 1,000 yards.
I'll give you 1,000 for a 905. He had 905. I'll give you 1,000 for that one. So yeah, we'll call it two and a
But
half 1,000-yard seasons.
okay, fair. So here's the thing though. It's like you look at somebody like that, that's really not that heavy a workload, right? But then in the big moments, look at what he did in all the big moments in games when they needed him, when they knew they were going to run, and he put the ball in his hands.
Yeah,
And that tells you a lot about who a player is. You know, like Derrick Henry's that guy. Well, he's I'm sorry, he's a bad example because I mean, he can run over 12 semis if he wanted to. So he's not the right guy, you know. But Kenneth Walker with Kansas City, if anybody says Kenneth Walker to Kansas City with that offensive mind trust that's there, with Patrick Mahomes who knows how to put everybody involved, with Eric Bieniemy, I think is coming back,
yeah, I believe
where he's
so.
going to be more comfortable. You know, I'm sorry. If I would really like to hear from somebody why they think that's not a good signing, because I see no downside with that. You get someone with NFL experience that knows how to protect and pass, or what they call pass pro. You get someone who knows how to play when the lights are their brightest, and that's something you got to learn in Kansas City because you're getting everybody's best. Because no matter who held up the trophy, even when Philly held up the trophy, and they beat Kansas City. Even with Seattle now, you know who everybody's talking about next year? They're still talking about Kansas City. Until Kansas City goes on a Jets type losing streak in seasons, they're going to be the team as long as Patrick Mahomes is there, as long 1-5 is there with that offensive brain trust. I'm sorry. I don't. They're not going to be weak to anybody. So I would love to see anybody who thinks that's not a good signing. Now I'm gonna tell you what a sign that I'm kind of really curious about. Malik Willis signed with the Dolphins. Do I have that right? He
Yeah,
signed with the
yeah.
Dolphins. So the Dolphins to me are like the Jets with uglier uniforms. Yeah, I said it. I said what I said when I said it. I think there are big holes that are causing little holes and little holes that are causing big holes with the Jets. Now, maybe he shores up something for them that they can build around. I mean, he's certainly that type of player, right? But
He's got
to me, I
talent.
thought
He's
that they
got talent.
yeah, yeah, oh, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt, and so I guess this is oh, man, Marvin, Maestro, you're killing me. I guess it's even about him. It's really more about the Dolphins signing him. I would wanna sign him too, if I'm gonna build my scheme around letting him be who he is.
Yeah, yeah.
But do
That's
they
the
have the kind of
important
team
part.
but do they have the type of team that they can build a functioning scheme to let Malik Willis be Malik Willis. Now, I know he's got connections there, right? Um, I think he played with a couple of guys there from the Packers, and I think one of his coaches is there. So it's not like he's going to an unfamiliar place where people don't know him. And please fact check me on that. Again, I'm just off the top of my head, I'm just trying to remember. I remember seeing like connections there with him. And I think I remember him talking about that. But I just really would like to see him be him and then work around him because in that case, the Miami Dolphins have something there. But the Dolphins, like the Jets, have not shown me that they can build anything around anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
And if I'm wrong, I'm more than happy to stand corrected. I will take my licks. But I've just never seen them build. They didn't build around Tua.
Uh,
You
I
know,
mean,
they
they
didn't. They didn't.
a lot of
They,
people would kill for that receiving core that they had there to have
yeah,
Waddle
but
and so for me, and I'm not going to say Gasecki again.
it
This is a
wasn't the
pet. This is
players. It wasn't the players I was talking about, Bob. The schemes that they ran with Tua
mm,
and those guys.
gotcha,
That's what I'm talking about.
gotcha,
See,
gotcha,
and here's
gotcha.
what I'm getting at. Here's what I'm getting at. That when you look when you look at the type of quarterback Tua is, you look at the type of receiver those guys are, but you put them in systems that don't match their talents with each other, you're going to get chaos, and that's like what the
Yeah,
Jets do. I'm sorry, and I will talk about my team. I will not bring anybody else's team in it. I will talk about my team always first and foremost of something that we don't do well. And that is I can bring in Tua, I can bring in Waddle, I can bring in Diggs, I could bring in what was that other guy that went crazy to have like 27 kids by 47 women? The one that Lord mercy, he's like 2'8".
Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers. I'm just kidding. Oh, you said by different. You said by different women. Hold on. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Uh he was
Was it Steve
he was
Smith?
with no, he was with Kansas
Uh,
City for he was with Kansas City forever and then felt like he was being number 2 to Travis Kelsey, said he wanted to go be number 1, so he went to Miami, and then he had a mental breakdown there.
Everybody does.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, I see he had all that talent there, but they did not put together a system so those talents that that murder board we were talking about earlier,
Yep.
they did not put that together
Yep.
to maximize everybody's ability, and that's what I'm
Yep.
talking about.
Gotcha.
So, you can have the talent, but if you don't put it in the right system, it kinda doesn't mean anything,
Yeah. Yep.
you know?
Absolutely.
So so that's what I meant when I said and I apologize I wasn't clear about that. Thank you for calling me out on that. That's what I meant when I
You're.
said they didn't really build around Tua the way I thought
I got. Yeah. No. I
they
was just
could
gonna
have.
say I would kill to have Waddle Hill. Again, he didn't live up to the hype yet. Gasecki. Some of those.
Hill.
Some
I
of
think it
this.
was Hill.
Okay.
Isn't
Tyreek Hill, the
Yeah,
receiver.
yeah, Tyreek Hill. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the one that has like 147 kids by 385 women or something like that. I'm sorry. That was supposed to be a
but
joke. Please don't sue us for that.
but yeah, no. Oh, what do you think? Last thing I want to bring up or talk to you about. What do you think? How are you feeling about Max Crosby and the Raiders? Do you think he's gonna be a Raider next
Oh,
season?
he's gonna be totally happy with the Ravens and being with the Ravens. I'm sorry. I was trying to make it a joke and I realized I could. Yeah, okay. How I really feel about it? Okay, here we go. I'm gonna ask everyone's forgiveness in early since I've already ruined the episode, I might as well just keep going because I can't mess it up anymore. Some of you might not remember when Lord mercy.
You don't even remember.
Yeah, I don't. When when he had signed a big contract with the Texas Rangers and shortstop end up going to he was married to J Lo for a while, end up going to the Yankees. Uh
Was it A-Rod?
thank you.
Yeah.
Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah. There you
Thank
go.
you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm having one of those moments, fam. I'm sorry,
Hey,
and
it's
you know what?
hey,
And
hey,
I'm not even.
we're tired. We're
I'm,
tired.
yeah. I'm not even. I'm not even. I'm not. I'm just not even ashamed about it. So Alex Rodriguez was wanting to leave the Rangers after he signed a big contract, and they put together a contract to sign with the Boston Red Sox. And then all of a sudden, after they went through the deal and everything else, the league nixed the deal. And everybody thought that was really more about A-Rod than it was, than it was about the Boston Red Sox. Side story: Red Sox had signed Mueller, whose rights were on the table for a Japanese team, and it wasn't breaking the rules. It was just something you didn't do. The Boston Red Sox, a few months before, had gone behind everyone's back, even though it was legal. It still doesn't make it was not illegal, but it not necessarily was according to the spirit of the rules, and signed Mueller when he was getting ready to go and play in Japan because the Japanese team already had his rights. And they did it undercutting everybody else in the league. And that eked off a lot. Please fact check me on this, but it eked off a lot of people within the business side of Major League Baseball. So there are some people, including myself, who feel like the reason the A-Rod deal didn't work with Boston was we're going to get back at you guys for
Mm.
what you did with that. And guess what? We're going to give the Yankees, your arch enemy, an opportunity to sign him. That's the backdrop. So that's the backdrop of what I'm going to say for this. And I know I just went way, way back because that's back in 2004, and a lot of our people weren't even born yet. So here we go. The reason that I'm saying what I'm saying about what happened with Maxwell, and I was making a really bad joke about him being happy as a Raven, is because of this. Whatever deal transpired to allow him to sign and all that other stuff, and then after the signing, because you get a physical before you sign. And that physical can be as intensive as whatever as you want to be before you sign. To all of a sudden now, after you sign to get the physical and you don't pass,
Well, I think probably because it was a trade. Maybe they traded him and then the physical probably
they
came.
had the physical before. That I heard in reporting. I heard that there were a lot of people reported that the initial trade was dependent upon physicals
Mm.
before the trade. So, and again, if I missed time or if I misunderstood the timing of those reports, look at pre-trade. You saw a lot of reporting said pending physical. Then all of a sudden, everything is good. He's going to be fine. Even people talk about how he's going to work his health back in, all this other stuff. The trade happens. Getting ready to do the signing. No, can't do it. Guess what? We found that he has Lego parts in his knee or whatever. I'm saying that to say it sure feels like that A-Rod deal. It feels like we know you want to go there, and that might be the best option for you to go there, but we're not going to let you go
It ain't
there.
the best option for
And
us, the league.
and 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 listen, I'm I'm not a conspiracy theorist. You guys know that, even though that I do believe that the Jets will never win a Super Bowl as long as. Never mind. Sorry, I'm not going too soon. It's too soon.
You got
I'm just
another
in a bad.
40 years. You got another 40
I'm
years.
just to our fans. I apologize. I'm just in a bad mood tonight. I'm not going to underestimate the hand that Tom Brady might have had in this conversation.
Mm.
I'm not going to underestimate the fact that Tom Brady might say, you know what? Gosh darn it, all to monkeys. I don't know if I'm gonna let that guy go. Because even Max at 80%, I'm sorry. He's one of those guys that at 80%, I'll take him over a lot of guys who are 100%. I don't I do not like him as a player, but I sure as heck respect him. And I think he's disastrous for offenses. I think so I would pick him in a heartbeat. I get over my dislike for him as a player really quick. Because he comes out of the ocean and menaces Japanese cities. When he's on point, he's one of those cats. And it doesn't seem to matter the scheme. It doesn't seem to matter the down and distance. It doesn't. He's one of those guys that has the ability to surpass all that. That's that to me again to me. And I'm sitting on the chair wrapped in plastic. That he's that type of player.
Yeah.
So to me, that all of a sudden after we did a physical, yes, we approved the trade. And then all of a sudden we did another physical. No, you didn't pass. It's more about something else than him or the Ravens. Somebody that might have had hand in the play, and I'm not gonna rule out Tom Brady, and that is not Jet hate talking. That's just I saw that and I immediately thought of the Red Sox in 2000. See, that's how my mind works. I really went to the Red Sox in 2004. Maestro is lame, isn't he? I'm sorry.
No, I
I'm
uh,
sorry.
I
Listen,
I
if
I
y'all want to
will.
fire me after tonight, if listen, if y'all want to fire me tonight and just had to be just Bob in the pocket, I would completely understand. I earned this
That
benching,
would be
okay?
so boring. That would be so boring. I'm not going to go down that conspiracy theory though. I hope that maybe this hurt his trade value, and the Vikings maybe send a sixth and a
Oh, you know it
seventh.
did.
Maybe said
You know it
Vikings
did.
Vikings send a sixth and a seventh to the Raiders for Max Crosby. Come on now.
Dude, I'm sorry. If you guys, if I'm saying you guys, like you're on the team, because to me you are, Max Crosby on that defense right now. Oh my goodness gracious.
Give him Brian
You're gonna solve three
Flores.
problems. You're solving three problems in one. You have a defensive leader that's gonna match your defensive coordinator.
Yep.
You now have a guy that can play both sides of the line as an edge. And it can still stun up the middle. That's two. And the third thing you solve is you get that identity fix that there will not be an offensive line meeting where they're not talking about MC because he's that type of player. So if you guys have that with a mind like Flores, oh, come on. Plus the other talent
Now,
that you have
yeah.
too.
To be fair, I have
Right.
zero faith that the Vikings will even attempt to make a trade for Max Crosby. I would love for them to bring him in. I would love it.
Listen, listen. I'm never gonna have the opportunity to be Mr. Kelly Clarkson, but I can still dream about that. So, I'm I'll be in the fantasy with you that one day I might be Mr. Kelly Clarkson. I'm fine
Yeah,
with it,
you
and
would
I'll
take
be
her
less headache than
you
what
would
she's
take
dealing
her
with
last
now.
name.
100%. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. I drive her around, get the prenup. I don't need nothing. She put me on an allowance if she wants to, $12 a week. I'm fine with that. And when she gets tired of me, she can kick me to the curb. I'm not going to stay in her house and make her sue me to leave. I'm not that guy. I'll be respectful. I'll be great with the kids. I'm a good cook. Man, come on. I'll be happy as Mr. Clarkson.
Well,
I'm sorry. I'm
everybody,
sorry.
I think what we'll do here is another episode where we have gone off the rails, have talked about
No,
everything. Eh,
Maestro's going off the rails. Bob is fine. Maestro went off the rails.
let me ask you, Maestro, is there anything else you would like to tell the people before we go to bed?
I would like to say, first of all, I'm really sorry that I ruined tonight's episode the way I did because we really didn't got into the signs that we want to talk to. So I'm going to put everybody behind the curtain. Bob really said, let's give it one more day to see what else happens with signings and stuff like that. That was his plan. He was right plan, and he gave me a lot of great homework, and I looked it up and I did stuff like that. But just the dynamics of the situation, I think the more I looked at what he gave, because it was such good stuff, the dynamics of the situation just really took hold, and I'd allowed it to take over my my mindset and just what we were talking about. So, thank you guys for staying with us tonight. Thank you guys for you want to put me in timeout. You want to suspend me for a few games for performance enhancing stupidity. I'm fine. Um, but just appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for getting us over 1,000 followers. Right? Is that right?
Yeah,
1,000
on
over
TikTok.
1,000
Yeah, over
followers
1,000 on
on
TikTok.
TikTok. Yeah, thank you guys so much. And we have a store opening up here. Bob said get that, and we got questions coming, so we're gonna see Bobby some hot wings. And you know what?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna drink hot sauce
Oh,
while
yeah,
he's
that's
eating
what
wing.
I
I'm just
should
gonna drink
eat.
hot
Yeah, Maestro,
sauce.
that's what I'll do. Hi, Maestro, I'll send you a little bit of each of the sauce. No, I would not do that to you. These sauces are probably after the first
Uh,
three. Probably after the first three, I'm going to be dying, and I will. obviously, again, we try and keep this as family friendly as possible when we talk.
Yes.
I might
Yes, we do.
there might be some I might have to do some heavy editing on
Yeah,
that
we might, yeah.
episode.
Hey.
But really, guy,
Yeah, look.
we got three questions. I appreciate the three people that gave us questions. I apologize, I didn't write them all down. I do believe one of them was Jai, one of them was Lucas, and I apologize. I cannot remember who that
He's
third one was, and
purposely
I'm
not
actually
looking at them.
I know
He's
I'm
purposely
gonna
not looking at them because he wants to because he does what he wasn't thinking about him ahead of time. He wants to give them to me, so when I ask him, he has to answer off the
yeah.
cuff. So he's
So
being very
jumped.
respectful of the process.
So I jumped on Marcus Laster,
There you go,
Jai,
Marcus.
and Lucas hit us up with those three questions. I need 7 more. Again, these aren't trivia questions, but these are things that you want to hear. I say my opinion, but our
Yeah.
opinion on. You can ask. Maestro's going to ask me my opinion, and then while I'm dying from the hot wings, he can answer the question for me. So,
There you
but
go. There
we
you go.
do.
And Lord knows. But
But
no, just really, just appreciate everybody for your participation with us, your patience with us, and you're playing along with us too. It really means a lot when you guys leave comments too,
yeah,
even if
yep.
it's just a joke about just how bad my breath smells. It's fine. Just please, we, seriously, we really thank you guys.
Yeah,
It means a
yep.
lot to us that you'll take time.
Yeah,
It really
and
does.
we appreciate you guys' patience with well, at least for me, Maestro has always sounded great. He's always had a great setup, and I mess with mine every single week trying to get it something perfected. So I appreciate your guys' patience with my different locations and different mics placement and all that stuff. But hey, we truly we appreciate you guys, and we hope you guys have a great rest of your week.